We need to talk about Gen Z dating. I mean, it's the illusion of fulfillment of modern dating. I mean, from the perspective of me, who from society and from the red pill space often define as success, at least as making relatively to your peers a lot of money, having a lot of status, and compared to your peers. And then the main red pill space is hypergamy, which is women want to date sideways and up socioeconomically in terms of who they want to pair bonds with or date. And so, from a hypergamous standpoint, at least from an income, from the things I have going on, from the amount of lives that I've lived at a very young age. I mean, objectively speaking, I understand that I'm from a hypergamous standpoint very high up. So that leads to having a lot of options. The initial allure of dating and various women and driving really cool cars and experience a extreme life of luxury seems so fulfilling. And that's actually what I was chasing after for a long period of time. A lot of people do. You see all these people in the red pill space or just on Instagram and doing all these things, driving all these flashy cars, doing all these cool things, dating a bunch of girls. And you're like, that sounds fucking awesome. And it is from an ego perspective, from at least from personal experience. I found a deeper truth. Excess material things and superficial relationships fail to provide any lasting satisfaction. The only thing it does is unbearably boost your ego in probably the wrong way. I mean, you just end up going in the same pattern of dating a ton of women. And because of the lifestyle that you're living, then more women want to date you. And there's all these things that are going on. And you just go into the exact same patterns, but it just leads to this hollow emptiness routine. And it becomes clear that the cycle isn't inherently about trying to build connections and pair bonds and start a family, but it's simply about just validating your ego, just a wildly high degree, which is just such an unsustainable, like, let's say, everlasting fulfillment. I mean, no one's ever going to get fulfillment from that. People promise you online that you will. I can promise you. I mean, I've only been doing it for a few months and it's unbearably unexciting. What I would really like is to find someone that I would want to grow with and actually be able to have an interesting conversation. From my perspective, Gen Z dating, because I'm 22 years old. So the women who want to date me are, let's say, between the ages of 19 and 23. And most of them are in college, but I stopped going to high school. Instead, I started a business. I dropped out, or I didn't drop out, but I just stopped going to high school. And then I ended up flying across the country to apprentice myself under someone. And eventually I started a business. And I don't say that to brag at all. It is just a fact. What I've really noticed about dating around and doing these things is just I don't want to use profanity, even though I really want to. I would just say from my experience, the women that I've been going out with are just duds. They've never, ever in their life thought about anything to a severe degree, at least not from what I've found. It leads to just a mega routine of just going on one date, just saying, I don't really like this girl. And then it's brutal. It's brutal because you have to put the reps in if you want to find someone that you actually want to spend some time with. So you almost inherently have to date around if you want to find a girl that you want to date for a long period of time or potentially marry. But I mean, it's just, it is unbearable from what I've seen. I mean, once you get past the part that chicks are hot, what else do you have to offer? And in 99% of cases, it's just virtually nothing. And I think social media has done a lot of damage to this, and probably being in a city right now, I'm in Scottsdale. But social media and dating apps have kind of commodified relationships. Let's say emphasizing appearance and instant gratification over substance and trying to build a long-term bond because you have the parity of too many options. It's like if you go to the Cheesecake Factory is a perfect example. I hate the Cheesecake Factory because I go in there and there's a 50-page menu of just unlimited options that all sound really good. And I don't want 1,000 options. I genuinely just want to go to a restaurant. They tell me what's good and I get it. And then I go to that restaurant when I want that good thing. I don't want a million options. And because of dating apps and this Instagram, which is basically just a dating app, one, you see all of these, let's say, people that are potential mates at all times of every single day, interacting with them, liking your photos, liking your Tinder account or whatever it is. I've seen that this leads to just a sense of dissatisfaction. The parity of options leads to not wanting any options in a lot of cases, or you just have so many options. If any singular thing goes wrong, you just decide, I'm just going to go to one of my other options instead of kind of, let's say, the old school approach of just trying to actually figure something out. And then just the lack of attention span and ability or wanting to learn and trying to educate yourself, or just having a massive over resilience on external validation. And you could absolutely put myself in that category. It feels great when your ego gets boosted and all these things. When you post on Instagram and all your friends like it, and then there's people hitting you up because of it. I mean, that just boosts all your serotonin levels and you feel fantastic. But what does that do to you long term? I don't know. I'm guessing I'm now seeing the fruits of that problem starting to occur with modern dating. And then it comes down to hookup culture, which is just really, really sad. What I've seen people come to. I have a great friend who always says, all women are whores. And then he always abruptly stops. He goes, except my mother. uh, it's funny because the way he says it is really funny. And I know my mom's going to watch this video. That just kind of goes back to the red pill dynamics, which I think is very, very accurate describing hypergamy and gives you a ton of insight into societal dynamics, which are that women want to date sideways and up socioeconomically. I mean, the more you think about that line, it is 100% true. But what I disagree with a lot of the red pill space is that it's just so fun to live that lifestyle of just trying to bang 25 chicks a month. It's definitely not. It's not fun at all. It only really inflates your ego and probably makes you more of a douchebag in a lot of conversation and circumstances. It would be way more fulfilling to actually try and be into someone and grow with them. And so what I actually see society and, let's say, younger generations like mine missing out on today that have fulfilled me a million times more than any of this other garbage is having a strong brotherhood. I mean, most men do not have a group of friends that, or even one person for that matter, that they would trust with the love of their life, butt naked in their bed. A group of guys that they would actually want to go to war with. And I can confidently say this with not a single doubt in my entire brain that the people that I'm surrounded with and my best friends in the entire world right now, I would trust them with fucking anything. I'd give them my entire life savings, my business. And I know that, you know what? My friends would probably go and invest it and make me more money. So when I got back, I would actually have more money. That is what most people are missing. What I find the most fulfillment from is just building the strongest bonds and growing awesome businesses with all my friends. I mean, that is so fucking fun. It's so fun. I mean, the excitement I get calling up my buddy Luke, and we're talking about game because we love it, or at least we love to discuss it and learn, and then try and get better because that's just what we do. And I mean, the excitement I get talking to Luke is extreme. And I know he feels the same way. At least I think I do. Luke, you'll be watching. You won't lie in the comments, right, buddy? I genuinely believe most Gen Z men who are lost just need that type of brotherhood. And the loneliness that I felt for so many years of when I was trying to get everything started, I can tell you that's what sucked. That's what really sucked. Now there's really nothing that could take me down because I have such a great friend group. So how do you actually do that? That's much more difficult because the people that I wanted to be friends with, the people that are trying to conquer the world and grow themselves into the best possible people, they only want to be friends with people that are also doing that. So you actually just have to take control of your own life and take 100% accountability that everything that is going wrong in your life is because of your past actions and you have to fix them. Not like the last thing that any of my friends or me would ever want to hang out with is just this someone that just victimizes themselves, that something's not their fault. No, I mean, things that aren't even my fault, I'll take the blame for because I should have fucking foresee it. It's just the reality of the situation. Just don't be a victim. Take full accountability and just fucking kick ass in life. And then building those groups of friends, it does take time. The same way hypergamy, you're probably not going to get the best looking women in the entire world if you have nothing going on in your life, or even any girls. But once you get there, I mean, you just have to spend the time building the foundation to where you're actually somewhat of interest. Um, Really, only your parents are going to love you for who you are. Uh, you can call that fucked up, but that's the way that I've seen the world work. I'm just calling it the way that I see it. Now then, I do have a million other thoughts, and I've been tiptoeing around this topic because, I mean, I talk about business every day. That's what I think about, but that's not the only thing I think about. I obviously am a man. I obviously think about women and these types of things quite a lot. And I do like to study the science behind it of human biology and psychology and how the brain works from a man and female perspective, and the differences. So maybe in the future I'll do a few more videos because there's a lot of science behind it that I would like to explain.